Hi, Srivathsan, once again here. A few days back, I had done a brief session taking a case study from the building materials industry. So today we will have a look at a hospital chain and a hypothetical case in terms of how some of the numbers are measured and what are they likely to do. So without much delay, let's get into the discussion. So now, as a hospital chain, the person will have a few business objectives. Now, their main streams of businesses are threefold. Healthcare services is basically having a lot of big hospitals or rebranded hospitals or then next step was in terms of having a retail health plus diagnostic centers. The retail health and diagnostic centers, um, it could be clinics, it could be the smaller clinics in the streets or in the smaller streets, not the big facilities. And you can have the blood test and other diagnostic centers out there. The other thing that they actually looked at was having a pharmacy and how they can actually expand. So now, what are if these are the business objectives, then how are we going to distill it into KPIs and KRAs for the subsequent functions? If these are the main business lines, how are they going to do it? Now, of course, I'm not saying that every hospital is going to have this kind of a large setup. Some will only be operating at a pharmacy level. Some might only be operating at a diagnostics level. Some might have only one or two hospitals or one hospital. So, but the lessons are going to be valuable. That's the only idea. So, number of hospitals, how have they actually grown? So if we look at it, they are growing in terms of their owned hospitals or managed hospitals. How has been the occupancy rate? Is it from 60% to 80%? What is the average revenue per occupied bed? So everybody, if this is not something very unique to hospitals alone. If you look at it, hotels also have the same revenue metrics, which is basically like average revenue per occupied room. Here we are talking about bed, there they are talking about rooms. So that's the case. If we take telecom, they will say ARPU, which is average revenue per user. So that's a metric which is applicable for many industries. And then they talk about how their inpatients traffic has grown, how the average days in the hospital has come down. So basically, we want to tom about how you get the surgery and you can get out. Then, if it is a diagnostic center, then they talk about, okay, how many pin codes have they added to their portfolio? How has it grown year on year? How many dental and dialysis centers or any other centers that might be out there? And just a caveat, I'm no doctor. I have visited doctors frequently, but my knowledge with respect to anything medical is at a base level. So if I'm making any technical mistakes here, please forgive me for that. Then pharmacy and digital health, they talk about the same parameters. If hospitals are growing, number of beds are growing, they are looking at the same thing. How many pharmacy outlets are there? How many private labels or any other branded items that they can actually bring in? One important thing, if you are going to have a branded item in your portfolio, you are going to give a percentage of money to the brand and you are going to have a lesser revenue share. But if you are going to have a white label or a generic label with the same properties of the branded item, then you are going to have higher profit margins. Of course, the quality standards have to be met. That's a thing. And how many online consultations have grown in. So moving on to the next one. If you look at the uh, if you look at the example, the dashboard which is given here, if when you are the CEO and you are looking at how various parameters, a dashboard is going to come into the picture. When the dashboard is is going to be in front of you, you are going to look at, okay, how you look at the input parameters and you look at the output parameters. Once again, I'm going back to the earlier example that we discussed. Look at the input parameter, which is like how many cardiac procedures have been done, how many transplants has been done, how many robotic surgeries have been done. Of course, it varies from one hospital to another hospital, so you can redefine it the way you want. And where do patients come from? That is something that you need to know. Next is, as I mentioned before, is your revenue per bed growing or degrowing? Number of ailments that you are actually treating, that basically when you are known as a specialty hospital for something, let's say there's a cancer specialty, or there is cardiac specialty, or there is something else, then naturally people will flock into it. But you are not going to get one set of patients. If you are in a bigger city, having a specialty hospital will help you, because given that lot many people are out there, you are going to get more specific patients to your hospital. But if you are in a smaller place, or if you are in a different territory where the business demands you to, environment demands you to have multiple specialties, then please do look at how many ailments have been treated. The number of operational beds, basically I might have 100 beds, but 20 of them are not actually functional, so you are actually having 80. And of that, what is the occupancy rate? So available bed, what is the average? What is the number of operational beds? How has been the inpatient and outpatient mix, and how has been the growth? So these are some of the parameters I have mentioned here. You can get into the financials too, in terms of return on capital invested, or any of those parameters that you want to mention. What is the percentage of fee that you are giving to the doctor, and how much is coming to the hospital? All those things are going to be part of your dashboard. But this is just an example, because from here only you're going to go back into your specific function. So once again, I'm telling you, you have to define your business goal, and from there we are moving on to the functional goal, KPIs and KRAs. Now, the same structure was looked at in the previous example of building materials, and I'm sticking to the same structure here. The only thing that we need to look at is the KRA for this business marketing team is going to be like, how do you improve the revenue mix and profitability by 20% year on year? That's a KRA. Revenue mix and profitability. Now, you are not getting into, at this level, you are not getting into, I need so much of revenue from cardio or anything like that. That comes in the next stage. As a business marketing function, they are going to look at, okay, the company is going to grow at this pace, and obviously I need 20% contribution of that particular goal, or 50%, or 100%. See, once again, here in this, is there any clear demarcation between your marketing team and the sales team? That is, we have to look at how your organization is set up. So in some cases, there's a clear de-link. In some cases, it's not. So we have to figure out in terms of how your team is structured. Work with the, let's get on to the KPI part of it. Now, the number one thing is they need to ensure that the traffic inflow is high into your hospital. Naturally speaking, we cannot cause illness so that the traffic will come into the hospital. We are looking at people who are already ill, or people who want to get better at their health. They need to know who you are, and they walk in. So you need to have a perfect balance between inpatient and outpatient mix. And what kind of campaigns actually we can actually do? How can we improve the case mix? And this necessarily means that you can avoid the cyclical nature of your business, and then have, in some cases, the cough and cold will be very high. In another case, it will not be there. So how do you make up for this shortfall? You need to bring in something else. Then with the business marketing team, can they work with the hospital operations team, doctors, and reduce the average length of stay, so that they can go and then market it, saying that you get your operation done, or you get your minor surgery done or procedure done, and you can walk out in 2 hours. There is no need for you to stay for 2 days or 3 days or anything like that. So how that can actually be a marketing campaign? Work with the content team and specialists to increase the average revenue per occupied bed. Now that's a key parameter. Here, the traditional marketing team and the digital marketing team should come together and then figure out in terms of, okay, these are the overall business marketing head will be there. But under that, you will have the cardiac team, there will be diabetic team, there will be nephrology team, or neurology team. So now all of them are going to be having parameters like, okay, how do I get my specialty known to the target audience out there, and what kind of campaigns I have to run so that the average revenue increases for the company. How many ailments have been addressed? So that comes into picture. So they have to work closely with the content team. We will get into the content aspect of it. Once again, it's a quick recap in terms of um, uh, I have used two quick recap in terms of what we covered in the previous case study, the brand activation part of it. Now, I have used in the earlier slide business marketing team. The second portion I have spoken about brand activation. The reason is that depending on there is no hard and fixed rule in terms of nomenclatures. With medical practices, there is a very strict nomenclature, but in terms of marketing, the nomenclature changes depending on your problem and depending on the company setup, what is the segment we are operating in. So uh, how through brand activation, we can increase the awareness among your target audience, and there the funnel gets created, which is 4 times your actual yearly goal. Because this is a golden rule. Anywhere you go, they will like maintain 4 times the funnel. If you take the example of leading e-commerce companies, they actually shrink it. They say achieve the target in 10 months. The last 2 months is a bonus, because they want to have runway to meet any shortfall. So that comes with maturity. So let's not go there. Next step is dominate the region or the pin code, the number of medical camps you have done, community outreach program, number of education programs for the target audience. You're going to talk to the parents or students, or you can have corporate activation programs, the sports programs. Of course, all those things work in tandem with your digital activation programs. Please, in this, I am not going to get into the importance of media and operational aspects of it, because it's already covered in the previous session. But it's important that we build the trust for the hospital chains brand. That's extremely important. When the last point in terms of you can have hub and spoke model also, where we know it from the courier services companies, where they actually pool all the parcels from various places and bring it to one location, and from there it gets dispatched. The airlines also follow the same model. That's why you find a huge hubs out there, whether it is Dubai or Qatar or London or any of those places. Now, the same case is applicable here. There has to be feeder hospitals. There has to be smaller hospitals in other areas where your direct reach is lower, but you have a partnership with them. And can they actually feed the patients who need extra specialty or care towards you? So that also comes into picture. So how many feeder hospitals are out there? How many partner hospitals are there who can actually work with you? How many high net individuals in your location know you, trust you, will recommend their relatives or family or their businesses to you? That's extremely important. So now moving on to the digital part, I had promised saying that we will bring that into a picture. Now there are three segments. If you remember, in one of our earlier sessions, we had spoken about the customer journey. They first have to be aware of who you are, then they get into the interest, desire, and other the conversion areas. So now visualize this, the same thing in terms of awareness in that journey. We have split it into three main segments, which is basically when somebody needs to be aware of it, then they are in the top of the funnel. The person who's already become your customer is in the bottom of the funnel. So that is called tofu, top of the funnel; mofu, middle of the funnel; bofu, bottom of the funnel. Now, what are in what way this makes sense for the hospital chain or any other examples that we are going to talk about? If you need to give KPI to your social media team, under the top of the funnel, To the right hand side, you will notice the blog posts or webinars or social media, all those parameters are given. That becomes the input. How many blog posts have they written? How many webinars they have done? How is the social media performing? How many videos have been done? For example, if the hospital chain is going to be talking about, let's say, person A is handling dental procedures. How many dental procedures are handled? Videos are done, blog posts are done. What is the kind of outreach we are giving? How many educational materials are out there? All those aspects and everything, the content, everything is going to be on your website and other social media platforms. And search engine optimization has to be done for the dental vertical. Now someone else is going to come and then handle it for some other specialty. They need to do the same thing, but the parameters remain the same. So when you add all the specialties and look at all the blogs, you will find 20 nephrology blogs, 20 dialysis blogs, 20 dental blogs. All those things are there. Then now all these things are going to be added to your website. Now the overall business marketing team, they will know, oh, okay, fine. So for every business line we have, every specialty we have, the education materials are given here. When you have this education material out there, people read about it, build the trust and come to you. Now to move them from the top of the funnel to the middle of the funnel, where they are inquiring about uh, they're extremely warm and they want to inquire about, okay, how the procedure is going to be, is it going to be costly, is it going to be insurance is covered, all those things are there. Then what kind of assurances can you give from a content standpoint? Can you show them case studies saying that, okay, here was a patient who was suffering from so many ailments and then we were able to fix and then move forward? Can you give them an offer or a discount? Of course, they have not walked into your office, but somewhere they are digitally, they are showing, they are consuming the content. You know, some person A is actually consuming the content, but they have not come into your hospital. So that means, can you actually reach out to them through email and then give them more inputs saying, hey, have you read our new white paper on this or case study on this? Now, of course, a patient is not prone to read white papers, but can you give them an education material which will help them to understand the ailment better or whatever they prefer. You can do paid ads also. People are consuming YouTube videos like nobody's business. So is your brand out there on YouTube, and can you actually promote your videos on YouTube and give them inputs? Can you actually partner with other celebrities who can actually come and then do brand activation programs? For example, Dr. Pal is a very qualified doctor who also happens to be very funny. So he has got a huge followership, and recently during his Tamil Nadu visit, he actually did some stand-up comedy kind of a thing with medical stuff. So how can you actually do that? How can you amplify your brand through influences, through credible influences? So all those things have to be thought through. Next is BOFU, bottom of the funnel. And this, once again, that you will find not a clear demarcation between MOFU and BOFU, because the case study that you give there is a past in terms of somebody has, I have solved it for somebody. Client testimonials are going to be there, but here you are going to get somebody to speak to the patient directly saying that, yes, I had this problem and they were able to close it. Can you give them look at all the product reviews, look at all the experience that we are actually giving, give them a walkthrough. This is how, from the time you actually get in to get out, this is how the flow is going to be, and we are going to solve this in a very pleasant way. Very critical. For example, if there is a pediatric ward, you can actually take them saying that, okay, when they get into the MRI, they will be scared. So we actually have something very cartoonish inside, so that the kids feel very comfortable being there. So you can translate the whole thing for multiple industries, and for multiple industries, the vehicles will remain the same. See, as I mentioned before, today Instagram is there, but tomorrow something else will come up. A few years back, TikTok was here in India. It is not there, but the fundamental thing remains the same, which is you need to have content, and how people are engaging with your content, and are they coming to your website, And after they come to your website, are they actually interested to give their details and have a conversation with you? So you can start anywhere, but all the activities should feed into your website or landing pages or mobile app, whatever the property that you have, and that should translate into a business. So your KPIs are getting defined like this, so that it aligns to your dashboard, which is, are you having a very high average revenue per pet? Okay, I am having an average revenue. Is it from the cardiac? Is it from the transplants? Or is it from the robotic thing? Each and every business line, are they having their own marketing campaigns to address your business goals? How are they actually reaching out to other countries and then getting people? Can you partner with somebody? How many? One of the dashboards should be like, how many partner hospitals do you have? How many people are referring your hospitals to them? Can you actually give referral programs to the people? So please stick to your dashboard first, where you have the business goals, and from there draw down on what are the activities each and every marketing team or sales team should do. Then how do you go about measuring them? So that's how the thing is done. And with this, we have done two case studies. The earlier one was related to the building materials, and now we have done something in a shorter manner for hospitals. So if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to ping me. I will be more than happy to repeat whatever we have discussed here any number of times. No problem out there, because I'm not expecting everybody to get it right the first time. It's an iterative process. So I'll be more than happy to explain it further. So without taking too much of your time, I would like to thank you, and have a great day. Take care.